Today. Good, good. Okay, I just got a couple things I need to change over here real quick, ma'am. Yeah, would you switch with him? Yeah. I don't like ladies on the end of an aisle.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Don't look at me like that, honey. I know that look. Okay? I'll tell you the reason why. I was doing a show one time in Abilene, Texas. Okay? Now I'm from Oklahoma, and they had paid me to come down there to teach. Now, how many people know Abilene is?
Oh yeah.
It's out there, isn't it? And they ain't nothing out there.
Ain't nothing.
That's right. It's sand.
And mesquite.
That's right. Let me tell you what. They've got the largest bass club in the United States. Ain't that something? And there ain't no water nowhere, hardly. Okay? So they paid me to come out there and do my talk on fishing. But we didn't have this. I just had a stage. Okay? Now I'm doing how many, have anybody ever done public speaking before? Okay. Sometimes you get nervous, don't you? I mean, I don't care who you are, I don't know how smart you are, you get nervous every now and then. Well, this is my crutch right here. When I start getting nervous, I start using this thing right here. Now you have to understand, I'm the only Okie there. Now I'm hoping that I'm relaying my messages to them, and they're getting what I'm saying, and I'm gonna get paid. Okay? So I'm tossing that baby down through there like that right there, and there's a lady on the end, ma'am, kind of like you were, and her husband was saying, write down everything he says. Boy, she's writing. Okay? And I paid all this money, write it down. So I'm still out there talking like that. But one time, when I get to talking and really I'm passionate about my sport. Okay, I really am. And I get to talking real fast, and man, I'm telling all this stuff, blah, blah, and I'm getting on, and I'm writing, she's writing real fast. But one time, I tossed it down the aisle like that right there, and some guy said something to me over here, and natural to do that, and I'm just throwing it down the aisle, and at the same time, I threw that spinnerbait down that aisle there. That lady's writing so fast that the pen flew out of her hand, and it went out to the aisle there. She reached down there and grabbed it. When she did, that spinnerbait hit her on the ear. She did this, and I set the hook. Some bumps in your line, boys, what do? Jack their jaw, man. You have to understand, I've been doing this 40 years. Oh, yeah, man. I mean, guess what she did then? She started fighting. Oh, God, I love a good fight, man. I got my dragon bridle on in. Look here. I'm trying to get it out of her ear, honey. She starts wiggling. I can't get it out. I have to cut that spinnerbait. Oh, yeah.
Charger for
At that time, that spinnerbait cost me about $15. Okay? Now, I ruined a perfectly good spinnerbait on some old gal's ear. Okay? What I'm going to tell you, ma'am, if I hook that guy right there, it's coming out. Okay? There you go. All right. Catching fish is not hard. It really isn't. I don't have a problem catching them. I've never had a problem catching them. I have a problem finding them to catch. The hardest part of a professional angler's job is not to catch them. You got to find them to catch. If you can't find them, you can't catch them. I don't care who you are. Automatic, okay? And there's certain ways that we do certain things, and there's certain baits that we use to find these fish. All right? Now, one of the things that on my boat, I mean, I've got locators. Sir, I got locators all over them. I've got some that big. I got a Lowrance that I guarantee you tell me anything I want to know what's going on, beside, down, everywhere. But a lot of times, if we're fishing an area where, there's a lot more shallower water, like that, the first thing I'm going to do is I've got to cover lots of territory. If you tournament fish any or if you go fishing anywhere, the main thing about it is finding places to fish and understanding why they're doing what they're doing. This is winter time. And let me tell you something about fish. They don't change in one day. Everybody always says front move through, fishing stops. Sorry guys, that ain't the way it works. I mean, if you're catching them on Friday and you got a front come through, they're pretty much going to be in that area there. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen them move. Now, these next 5 days we got going through here, you got 5 days of cold weather. You live down here, sir? Have you seen 4 or 5 days in the 20s and 30s in a row, man? I haven't heard that much down. You might get 1, maybe 2. But you're going to have 4 to 5 days where it's going to be down there. So let me tell you, the first thing those bass are going to do, they're going to get real tight to cover. If this is a tree, they're going to be right up against it. They're going to be tight to anything that they can. When I came in this morning, I had one fish, see that little spider plant right there? He was stuck up inside there. And I had another one over here. Let me tell you what, guys, what they do in here, they're going to do right there. Pressure's pressure. I don't care where it is. Sunday we had what? We had rain. You got a front move through. You got 20, 30 mile an hour winds right now, and it's going to be cold. Those fish are going to be tight to cover. So one of the main things I'm going to do, I'm not going to target shallow water, that's for sure. Right now, I'd be targeting deeper water. I'd be going out there probably on the breaks, trees, stuff like that. I'm going to hit that. But I'm going to talk about a lot of things, finding the fish the way I do some of the things that we do. First thing, spinnerbaits are probably one of the best baits to me to locate fish. I think that anytime I use this bait, I'm understanding that I've got to move around a lot. To me, it's not a food bait. I don't care what anybody says. Sir, you look fairly intelligent. Me, you ever see anything like that swimming in the water by itself? Okay, it's not. So understand that a lot of times the bass is not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is, and I do this at just about every seminar I do. I change up the seminars here a little bit, but most of the time when I'm talking spinnerbait, I want everyone to understand why I do a lot of things with spinnerbait. Number one, I've got probably 4 or 5 different companies I use. I don't have one spinnerbait company that I like. And on the circuit, let me tell you what, I am sponsored by Gary Yamamoto. That's one of my sponsors. Senkos. Let me tell you about Senkos, sir. I can trade anything with my Senkos. So I trade a lot of spinnerbaits because I don't have one spinnerbait company that has all the baits that I want, okay? I like a Booyah, I like a Terminator, I like a little one out of Arkansas, made out there. I like one called the Golden Eagle. It's all gold. But I'm going to talk about, let's talk about where I'm going to find fish. So I'm going to throw this to you, sir. Look up every time okay, I'm sorry, I didn't explain what I'm doing here. Anytime I'm doing a seminar, y'all have to help me. Okay? So, I mean, I'm just telling you, you have to help me. I don't do anything by myself, all right? So, what that means is, watch everything I do because I'm going to be throwing baits out. The hooks are gone, sir, so don't worry. Okay? This lady said, don't catch it, honey. It's got a hook on it. Man, let me tell you something. I might not look real smart, but I'm not real dumb, okay? All right, good. I'm going to throw some stuff. I'm going to throw it out to you, sir, here, okay? I can put it where I want to, don't worry. I want you to understand some of the things I'm doing with the spinnerbait, why I do it. Today we had a high sun, all right? Yesterday we had overcast sky. First thing I want to tell you, sir, when I'm fishing overcast, that right there is a clear water, overcast sky, spinnerbait. All right? It's got a gold. Gold is my lead blade. Okay? Clear water means it's a willow leaf. Guys, when I'm telling you this stuff, you listen to, I'm not just talking to him, okay? I'm going to talk to everybody. All right? That right there is the overcast sky. All right? If I'm in muddy water, sir, I'm going to stay with the same color blade, but I'm going to go to a Colorado. Okay? Which is going to give me more vibration, but they're going to still see it. All of a sudden, I got a high sun come up. Guess what, sir? I'm going to change it to a chrome. Listen, Chrome in high sun shows more flash. In low light conditions, gold, copper. At night, black. Muddy water, chartreuse. A chartreuse in white. Sometimes I'll have a chartreuse on the front, white on the back. Okay? Now, I have a little red on there. Now that hook's a little bit different, sir. I don't have the hook on there, but you'll see that hook moves, don't you? Okay? If I've got fish that are short striking, that's what I'm going to use. And the reason why I'm going to do that, I don't have to put a trailer hook on there. That's a short strike, so it's going to be longer, but it's hanging down. That's the reason why I use that, sir. Okay? I have hooks that are stationary in the lead, but that's the reason why I use that right there, because it hangs down, it moves and flops and goes like that, okay? All right, thanks. I'm using, this is a 3/4 ounce. If I'm using this is a 3/8. If I'm using a half, if I'm using a 5/8, I'm going to use this right here. I'm using a 6.5 foot medium heavy action rod, okay? I'm going to use a rod that I know is going to work for that bait, okay? If I'm throwing and I'm going to have about 14-pound test line. If I'm throwing a quarter, an eighth to a quarter, I'm going to go down on my line. That's going to be 10 to 12. I'm going to go, my rod is going to be a medium action rod. It's not going to be medium heavy. I want to have a fast tip. That's very important to me, okay? Fast tips are important. I'm going to make sure that my lines are fluorocarbon. I don't like anything with fluorocarbon. I mean, I don't care if y'all throw monofilament and super lines and all that kind of stuff. That's fine with me. But monofilament stretches too much, and if I nick it one little bit, guess what's going to happen? It's going to break. On a fluorocarbon, I can almost saw it on something, and I guarantee you, I have a really better chance of getting it back than I do with monofilament. All right? Now, I like an R-bend spinnerbait. I don't, and the reason why, especially, now listen, an R-bend spinnerbait, when it's cold, doesn't vibrate as much because it takes all that arm, takes a lot of the vibration away. If it's got a little twist on there, then I'm gonna use that mainly in the summer. Okay. Now, the only problem with an R-bend spinnerbait is that if you catch a big bass, guess what it does? It tears it up. But guess what? I don't care. Because if I catch a big bass, guess what? Who cares, as far as I'm concerned. So, the next thing I want you to understand about this, because I said you've never seen one of these swimming in the water by itself, because there's nothing there that looks like it. He doesn't strike this bait because he's hungry. He bites to eat, he strikes to kill, okay? As far as I'm concerned, all right? What am I going to target? I'm going to target cover, stumps, rocks, laying log, standing timber. And ma'am, if I'm going to fish that standing timber, if I'm fishing that laying log, I'm going to fish both sides of it, okay? Because to me, this bait right here is more of kind of like this. Reaction, thank you, sir, I just caught you, okay? Reaction bait. They come up and sit, boom, okay? I'm moving in their territory. Every time I move in their territory, guess what they're going to do? That's right, they're going to strike it. And the reason why is we're territorial creatures. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take the bait, I'm going to ease it down there along that stump right there, and I'm going to bring it right through that stump. I'm going to bring it right along that rock pile. I'm going to touch everything. Every time I bring this bait in there, I am hitting that rock or that stump. I'm doing this, guys. I'm knocking on that fish's door. Anytime I can bring that bait through there and it hits that thing, the first thing I'm doing is I understand that he's going to strike it. I'm going to get one strike out of him and that's it. All right? So I'm going to bring the bait down through there like this. Boom. I get a strike. The greatest thing about this bait is I can throw it in heavy cover. The reason why I can throw it in heavy cover is because I got a big weed guard on there. Hook's always up. Weed guard's what? The arm and the blade. So take it through all that stuff there. Don't be afraid to do it. Now, if I want to run a little skinnier, guess what I do? I squeeze it together. That way I can run skinny water. Spinnerbaits are to me, you have to move them to make them work. And let me tell you something, sir. If I'm fishing a spinnerbait and I've got a bunch of shad in there and I think maybe, sir, they might think it's a shad, guess what I'll do? I'll have 4 or 5 blades on there. See, a lot of guys